society. And this is what happens in Kali Yuga, and that's why there's so much suffering in the world. So our problem is that we are unable to recognize people of true wisdom. For example, my spiritual teacher, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, came from India in 1965, and he recounts in his autobiography that he got off the boat. He literally came on a boat, on a freighter, and he didn't know which way to turn, whether to go left or to go right. Yet, somehow or other, within a few short years, he established a great international society of the esoteric teaching. So how did he do that? Well, there's only one real answer to that. He was guided. He was guided by God, and he was guided by the principles of the esoteric teaching. Now, we aren't so empowered, we aren't so special as he was, because his place in history is unique. We can't say that. But what we can say is that due to his guidance and his perfect instructions, that we have experienced something of the transcendental world. And therefore we can write and speak on the subject of transcendence with some authority because we've seen the truth. Just like it's stated in Bhagavad Gita, Tad vidi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshinaha. Just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master. Inquire from him submissively and render service unto him. The self-realized soul can impart knowledge unto you because he has seen the truth. So the self-realized soul is one who knows this esoteric teaching directly. He doesn't require to take references from a book. He can describe it directly in his own words. Just like when Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita, it has so much potency that even now, 5,000 years later, many of us take shelter of Bhagavad Gita on a daily basis, and we get incredible realizations, incredible inspirations from it. Similarly, our spiritual master, his words are also full of spiritual potencies. And so everything he says is enlightening. Everything he does is instructive. So we follow in his footsteps, and we find by doing so, we automatically get spiritual realizations. We don't have to try separately. We don't have to speculate our own path. We don't have to do anything outside of his instructions to achieve success. And this is the mark of someone with real knowledge. All we have to do is follow those instructions, and because they are identical with the original knowledge that emanated from the mouth of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, therefore they automatically have the spiritual potency to grant us self-realization and complete knowledge. So this is the path of the esoteric teaching. It emanated a long time ago from the breathing of Vishnu, Narayan, and it entered into this material universe through the incarnation of Brahma. Brahma is the secondary creator. And this is all described in the esoteric teaching, how Brahma was born from the lotus flower that grew from the navel of Kshirodakshai Vishnu, and how he then used Vedic sound vibration to sing the elements created by Lord Vishnu into the forms of the material universe, and how he and his children became the progenitors of all the different races and species in the universe, and how we're actually all descendants from him. So Lord Brahma is the original master of the esoteric teaching within this universe, and we are fortunate to be initiated in the Brahma Sampradaya, coming down from Lord Vishnu. So this is our position, and we are very fortunate to have this position due to the grace of our spiritual master. You can also have a position in this lineage by simply hearing and following the instructions of the esoteric teaching. And those are very simple. It begins from controlling the tongue. First of all, chant the name of God, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, or any Vishnu mantra. Second of all, become a vegetarian. Don't eat food that requires killing. There's too much karma involved, and that will keep you down. People who eat meat, there's a whole part of their brain that's shut off, that they can't understand spiritual knowledge. It's too subtle for them. So thirdly, don't get involved with illicit sex. And please don't take intoxication, because this simply dulls the mind and leads to making very bad decisions that you will regret later. Trust me, I've been there, I know. Fourthly, don't gamble and don't speculate, which is another kind of gambling. Speculation means, I think it's like this, or maybe it's like that, or if I take, well, it sounds good what you're saying, but it also sounds good what somebody else is saying. So if I just sort of mix these knowledge together, then maybe I'll come up with something really cool that nobody's ever thought before. Well, that's not the way to transcendental knowledge. That's called speculation. Mixing and matching, what I call spiritual window shopping, going from one teacher to another, to another, to another, will get you nowhere but around in circles. You have to find one teacher who can take you where you want to go, and stick with that teacher. Become an initiate of that school, and take it as far and as high as you can. And if it doesn't get where you want to go, then you have to find a better school. So my advice, of course, is that you take shelter of the school of the esoteric teaching, which can take you as high as you can ever imagine, and even more. So that was my experience. I was very fortunate. I became a disciple while I was still fairly young, and I was able to dedicate my entire life to this teaching. So now, at the end of my life, or near the end of my life, one never knows really when the time of the end of his life is coming, but let's say I'm feeling it already. The goals that I set for myself as a young man in spiritual life are something that's an everyday reality to me now. This is very wonderful, because I thought at the time that, even I thought that my goals were pretentious and very, very high, and it would take some extraordinary mercy, some extraordinary blessing to achieve them. And now I look back, and the consciousness that I am in every day is far, far above and beyond what I had ever aspired to as a young seeker. So I'm very grateful for this, and I'm very satisfied. But I want to spread this mercy around and make it possible for others to have the same opportunity. That's why I'm teaching. That's why I'm urging you to take shelter of this esoteric teaching, because you can become really happy by finding the key to attaining your perfect body. We hope you've enjoyed this edition of My Perfect Body. This is David Hughes, your host, reminding you to visit us on the web at esotericteaching.org, where you can purchase the complete Esoteric Teaching Introductory Seminar DVD and many CDs of transcendental music and mantras.